guys singing along with the Double Rainbow song?
Wow.
The auto-tune version.
I figured we needed to pay homage to Paul Velasquez. Paul Double Rainbow Velasquez. He actually passed away a couple of days ago. And that was actually, you remember when people started auto-tuning songs on YouTube? That was really one of the first ones that really kind of took off.
Yeah, they made fun of that in like the Kimmy Schmidt show. Like the intro to that kind of like plays on that.
Oh, did it really?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so Paul Velasquez died a couple of days ago.
What did he die from again? Heart attack or what was it?
I think he had a heart attack. Yeah, he was. He
marked it as COVID.
I'm sure they did. Yeah, everybody's marking everything as COVID. You know, you go in with a gunshot wound and you die, and they're like, "COVID, you died of COVID."
Complications of COVID-19.
Complications of COVID-19. So, welcome everybody to the Buck and Dex podcast. Dex obviously is not here. He's got some stuff he's dealing with. So, Ricky, I can't pronounce your last name, has graciously agreed to join us.
Kakashwedi is German.
Kakashwedi is German, yes. And our very good friend Chris Burnett, also known as the mayor of downtown Albuquerque.
Oh, I don't know about that, but yeah.
And the host of the 10 Drink Minimum podcast is joining us tonight in the studio, in the basement, I guess. Not really the studio.
Honored to be here.
Yeah, man. It's I'm glad it finally happened. It only took like 3 months, but thank you for being patient, man.
Yeah, I'm actually like down deep in the heart of downtown. When John Bones Jones got arrested for the DUI, I actually heard someone shooting off a gun.
So you saying you live downtown near the strip club?
Not far.
Not far. Right above it.
right above it. Down below it. Stuff drips down into my place.
Oh.
Nasty. So Chris Burnett has this 10 Drink Minimum podcast, and you know, I've said this on your podcast before, but you've been just like super instrumental in helping us get this thing going, our podcast, and you know, I just can't thank you enough for all the help that you've given us. So for people that don't know about your podcast, why don't you just tell everybody a little bit about what you guys do, how long you've been doing it, who's on it, all of that.
We've been doing it 14 years.
Wow.
Before, it was one of those things where kind of out of boredom, I feel like people listen to the radio and they're always like, you know what, I want to do that. And they think that they can do that. And the real truth of it is most of the time people can't. They don't really understand that, you know, because it's not easy. It's one of those deals where you get on a microphone and like if you go to like an event and they have a podium with a microphone and no one's there, people love to walk up to it and talk on the microphone.
Yeah,
they love it, and they don't really understand that there's actual skill involved. But I've been doing it for 14 years, probably poorly. And we try, you know, we basically do like a talk show, kind of like, you know, like a radio show, like a morning radio. We'll have guests, we'll have topics, we'll have, like, you know, we do it live on Sunday nights from 6 to 8, and we'll have a chat room. Sometimes we'll have surprise people that pop in out of nowhere, you know, and it can be anybody from someone from Breaking Bad or someone from, what do you call it? Comic book men. I mean, I don't know. I really enjoy, it's funny, like as time has gone by, I really enjoy talking to people who just do really strange jobs. That's like one of my favorite things.
Yeah. What's the weirdest job interview you've had as far as like like talking to somebody about their job? What's the strangest job you've encountered?
I'll say there was this woman, and she was an assistant to bands, like their personal assistant.
Mm-hmm.
And she was like, I don't really understand why anybody would care what I do. And I'm like, really? I mean, you don't understand that people like get up in the morning and drive to their desk job, and you don't think they want to hear what it's like to be the assistant for like Marilyn Manson or Slipknot, or like literally like 2 days after we did the interview, they flew her to Dubai for 5 days to be the masseuse for Justin Bieber, which, you know, and I just found it really, and she's like, well, I can't talk about who I work for. I was like, that's fine. just talk about your daily job. And so many people were like, that's what I want to do, And she, like, part of her job is like, if they were going to like Nashville, Tennessee, and one of the band members was, only likes PBR, she would have to call ahead and say, all the liquor stores, do you have PBR? And if they didn't, she'd have to go buy a case where she was at, pack it up, ship it to Nashville. So when she got there, she could get it and he could have his PBR in his dressing room, just weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
And for me, that's an interesting person to talk to because, I actually have a day job. I get up, I go to work, and I sit at a desk. So I want to hear what the garbage man's daily life, what his life is like. I've been trying to get one, but they're all like, I'm afraid to talk to somebody because I might get fired,
Dude, I actually know a guy who works for the Department of Waste. Is that what it's called? Solid Waste? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a buddy who's a supervisor over there. His name's Rob. I could probably get him to come on your podcast if you want.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
I got a guy that I met today. I'm building a house up in the East Mountains of Albuquerque, and we have a porta potty, and I'm the only one working at the job site. And I've been sliding the in-use switch over so the people walking don't use it, so we keep it clean, obviously, during COVID. So I go over there, and it's in use. I'm the only one there.
Yeah.
There's a garbage truck just to the right of the porta potty. I didn't even snap. I slid it to open, and I met my garbage man while he's taking a shit in my. Yeah, it was quite an interesting way to meet your garbage man. He didn't.
Was he actually sitting on the crapper?
Yeah, he was sitting there. We were like literally 1 foot away from each other, and I'm like, bro, and he just looked at me and was like, man, you gotta take a shit.
Nice.
So,
sat there with the door open and had a conversation with him. Like, hey, how's it going, buddy?
Just
how are you?
ignored it.
I should have just tipped it over and be like, fuck you.
Jackass style, just go, woo.
Yeah, that's what you get.
I don't know. You know what, though? I don't think I would fuck with my garbage man.
No, I won't. He's the guy
that he might know some stuff about you that you don't know.
Yeah.
Well, he's the guy that they got to ask for. He's the guy that they'll fetch it out of the trash if they need to look for something. So
nice.
I got. That's what I told my brother-in-law. Came by later, and I said, yeah, I want to get mad about it because like COVID, you want to keep your bathroom clean, but then at the same time, like I'm gonna have a relationship with this guy. He handles all my waste, so I can't piss him off.
Right. He might steal your identity. You never know.
Right. The mailman and him. That's about all I got to worry about.
Other interesting guests we've had ghost hunt. I've had the claims to talk to the dead. Because my mom's really into like horror. So, not with my mom, but for my mom, just like at their house, and we'll try to get ghost hunters or guy that talks to the dead. It's all very interesting. And my dad just sits in the back and just goes like that. He shakes his head.
Yeah.
But sometimes we don't have any guests at all. Just
you should. You know what? You should have Ricky on. Ricky actually probably has some pretty colorful stories he could probably tell you because I don't know. Have you guys ever met before? Have I introduced you guys before?
No,
we've never met. No.
So Ricky actually manages UFC fighters.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah, and he's also got a fight promotion that he does. But I'm sure he's probably got some pretty interesting stories about UFC fighters that he could probably.
Yeah, I used to listen to like you guys back in the day. You guys would always have Rashad on the show.
Yeah,
I always loved that. That was cool.
Yeah,
I always thought that was the neatest thing.
I think at some point I'm going to write a book. I'm just not sure. Yeah. I'm still in the business, so I got to get a little bit more out of the business, which. Maybe it was a sign with COVID that they're supposed to get out of the business a little bit, but we'll see. But yeah, no, the fight business is wild, man. The stories of having to have stuff and now I've kind of transitioned into the sports agency, so I manage fighters now. So I have a roster of guys that I represent. So nothing is intricate as some of the bands and stuff like that, as far as the riders and the requests, but definitely some interesting stuff.
Oh, I'm sure there's some cult characters in that. How do you feel about right now Dana White? He's fighting to they started the fights back up. Clearly. I'm
actually watching it right now. That's why my eyes keep panning up.
Oh, okay.
There's another show on tonight in Jacksonville. And, I think it's cool, man. I think I'm a little bit of a conspiracy theory on this whole COVID thing. I'm not discounting the fact that people are getting sick, and it's a bad deal for people that are high risk. But I think that I think this is a huge step for sports. Him and Donald Trump are buddies, so Donald Trump is kind of using this as a gauge to see how to integrate sports back in. So whether you like Trump or you hate Trump, Dana and Trump are buddies, and so if this goes really good, then it's great for sports. If it goes really bad, then it's bad for Trump and for Dana.
What I didn't get was how UFC had to shut down, but the WWE was still going. That's what I was like. How the hell is that? How's that work?
Well, that was the reason why they were able to go into Florida and fight, because the WWE, they said wrestling was still an essential business that needed to be open, and you've got a lot of crossovers, between WWE and the UFC. You've got Brock Lesnar that came over,
Cain Velasquez,
Ronda
Rousey. There's another one. There's another woman that's one of the champions that's from MMA. I can't think of her name.
I don't know.
In the WWE?
Yeah.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know. And Ronda was definitely there. I know there's some other girls that have done it. I'm trying to think of actually some of Ronda's buddies have gone on to it as well. Some of her training partners, but yeah, no, it's definitely interesting. The whole essential, non-essential stuff with fighting and UFC. So I mean, they're testing all these guys. They caught a fighter last week, I think, that had it.
Yeah.
And his cornerman. So
yeah,
I mean, it's just wild that it's wild that they caught him, but at the same time, they didn't let him into fight. So
someone got it in the chat. Shayna Baszler, that's who it is.
Yeah, Shayna.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Actually, Shayna did train with Ronda, I think, for a little while.
Yeah, she looks pretty tough, man. I would never mess with her.
Yeah.
Shayna's old strike force. She used to do the old guitar dance every time she won.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she'd do like a little guitar thing. So
have you guys, speaking of COVID, have you guys been tested yet for the coronavirus?
I have not.
I haven't. I mean, I don't know. I mean, if it's something that's readily available and free, whatever, look for antibodies.
Yeah, it's free. I actually got tested this morning, and I'm pretty sure that I had the coronavirus probably about 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago.
That's how I feel about it.
And because I didn't have all the symptoms, I had like a slight fever, but I didn't have chills. I didn't have body aches, but I couldn't breathe. Like it was to the point where I had to actually go out and get a little Primatene mist inhaler.
No, man.
But all that vaping and shit you do.
I don't think that's it, because I don't have working out or anything like that. It's just I'm telling you, I think I probably already had it, but I wouldn't have tested today. And I pulled up, and they take your ID, they give you some information, they tell you to pull around. So I pulled around, and it was at the Loveless downtown.
Do they stick that thing like deep down in your nasal passage?
Yeah. So get this. So I pull up, and there's two cars in front, right? I'm in the front in the right lane, and there's another car in the next to me in the left.
Mm-hmm.
And there's this guy in there, and he's probably in his like late 50s, early 60s, and they test his wife, and she takes the test, and then they start working on him, and every time they go to stick that thing in his nose, the guy was like pulling his head back, and I was like, oh shit, this is not going to be good.
That's what
So the lady came over, and she's like, are you ready? And I was like, yeah. And I was like, what's the best way to do this where it's the least painful? She's like, lean back and just hold on to your steering wheel. So I reclined the seat a little bit, and Cash is sitting behind me.
When you had the sign that said COVID testing in the rear, wasn't that a sign that you might have gone to the wrong place?
Yeah. Oh, was that you that posted that? I love
that. Yeah. So I lean my seat back, and I grab onto the steering wheel, and the test swab that they use, it's probably 10 to 12 inches, and they take that thing and they stick it all the way back there. And then as soon as she gets it back there, she says, now I have to count to 10.
Oh.
And so she starts counting to 10, and she's sitting there turning it in my nose while she's doing it. And I'm like, holy fuck, this is bullshit.
Yeah. Did it hurt, or was it just uncomfortable?
Yeah, it was super. And as soon as she finished, man, my eyes just started watering. Like I started crying. My eyes were watering. But yeah, I got my test today. So I don't think that she said that they can't tell if you've had it. They're just testing to see if it's active in you. So once the antibody tests come out, then I'll go and take that to see if I have the antibody. But I'm pretty sure I already had it.
How long before the turnaround before they tell you if you have it?
They said it'd be ready in 24 to 48 hours.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah.
You know anybody? Do either one of you guys know anybody that's actually had it yet?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah.
I
know someone who died from it.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't think I know anybody. Not that I know of. Nobody has come forward and said, "Yeah, I've had the coronavirus." So I don't think so.
One of my college buddies just got over it. He was EMT, and so he's on the front line, so he got it. But I wake up every morning and I kind of play the game show. Is it allergies or is it COVID-19? Because it's like this season has been the worst allergy season I've seen in years, and so I'll get up and my there's stuff in my throat, and immediately I'm like, I
have coronavirus.
I have the coronavirus, and then I'm like, do I have a fever? And then I'm like, I feel hot, and then I go and test myself, and I always have like less temperature, like 98.6 is like the average, and mine's like 93.4. Like,
right. I have hypothermia.
Yeah, right. I have the
cold. My buddy's wife got it recently. She works in the healthcare field, and she's had it for almost 3 weeks, and they retested her again. She's still positive, but she lost her taste and her smell for 2 days.
Oh, shit.
That was it. Yeah. But he was like, hopefully it'll come back. And sure enough, it came back, and she still has it in her system. So she's still in quarantine from my buddy and their kid, but neither one of the kid or my friend have it, but they tested her and loss of taste and smell for 2 days, and that's it. So I think there's definitely something to the blood type theory, where some people, certain blood types, it attacks more than others, because the explanation behind how some people have no symptoms or don't even notice it, and other people are just on their last lifeline.
That NBA player, the guy from Utah, that's what happened to him. He lost his taste and his smell.
Yeah,
the one that thought it was a joke, and he was like touching everything. He was like, touching
everybody's phones and stuff. And it's like,
I think he lost his taste and smell. I hadn't heard that since then. I don't think. Yeah.
There's a couple people that I've heard of that have had that. And I think Von Miller did the same thing for the Broncos. I think his was just a taste and smell 2 days. Everybody's is 2 days. That's the weirdest part. Go to your taste and smell for everybody that I've heard talk about it says 2 days. It's the weirdest number.
That is a weird number.
Yeah, it's weird though, but I don't know. I mean, it's just wild. So where I live near the ski resort up on the backside of the mountain, turnoff. The weekend, like every day up here is like, I've never seen so much traffic up here. Nobody's staying home. Everybody's going out. It's like it's got to be spreading if it was going to spread crazy, because everybody is out. Nobody's staying home. This is crazy.
So there was a whole week. So I work from home during the day, and there was 1 week where I went out twice. And it was during the daylight, and there's an apartment over here, and there was a car smashed into the sign. 3 days later, I go out again, and it's over on Lomas. Someone's smashed into a street light, and I was like, man, are people just like rusty, or what's going on? Like, what the shit, man?
Yeah,
dude, I went to I got my wife a new car, and a different car, I could say, and I had to fly to Amarillo to go pick it up. So I fly from here, here to Denver, which, by the way,
you had to fly. Hold on. You had to fly to Denver to fly to Amarillo.
Yes.
You always haven't met this guy. He's a cheapskate.
No. Dude,
got a good deal.
So the cheap flight was actually from Albuquerque to Denver, from Denver to Iowa, Iowa to Chicago, Chicago to Amarillo. Jesus. And that would have saved me $100. It would have taken me 23 hours.
Or you could have just drove there for like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, but I had to get the car back.
Well, you could have somebody take a friend. You know, friend.
Yeah.
Don't answer that.
You call either one of you, I guess. Not Dex, obviously, because he's nowhere to fucking be found. But
he would have had to borrow a car.
He got eaten by a mountain lion when he was on a run. I saw he like.
Yeah. So anyway, I get on a flight from here to Denver, and there's literally 7 people on the flight, right? Oh, wow. And it's a 737. It's a full size jet, right?
Yeah.
And I think 4 of the 7 people were sitting in first class because it was on United, so they had a first class section.
Okay.
The other 3 of us were in the back, and I was actually sitting right behind an emergency exit row. And so the flight attendant came around, and I asked him, I was like, is it cool if I just move up to the emergency exit row right in front of us? And he looks at me and he's like, I'm sorry, sir. Those seats are for people that pay more for them. And I was like, are you fucking serious? I was like, who's going to care? And he's like, I'm sorry, sir. And I was like,
he took a stand on that.
Wow.
Okay.
No,
I don't care if they're bankrupt.
No mimosa for you.
Yeah, no mimosa for me. I didn't even ask to go to the first class. I could have asked to go to first class because there were still plenty of seats up there. But I just asked if I could move up to the emergency exit row, and he's like, sorry, sir. Park's closed.
Maybe he thought you were handicapped.
Why? Well, what?
You're all
He just looked at you like, sir, you realize that's for a willing and able body.
Able-bodied people.
Did they at least let you sit in the exit row? Where there's a little more leg room?
That's what I was asking. I just asked him if I could sit in the exit row, and he's like, sorry, can't do that. But anyway, so I get to Denver. I've got a little quick layover in Denver, like not even an hour. Then we hop on the plane and go to Amarillo. And there was probably, the flight to Amarillo there's probably 20 people on that flight. But we get to Texas, dude, nobody, I swear to God, nobody in Texas that I saw was wearing a mask.
No, I don't care.
Not one person. You know what? John Mooney, this guy follows the podcast.
Yeah.
He's in San Antonio. I'm curious, John, did you see people wearing masks in San Antonio? Because nobody in Amarillo wore a mask. They had hand sanitizer out at the dealership, but nobody was wearing a mask. Not one person.
Should have stole the hand sanitizer.
It was a huge bottle. I know. I should have thrown it.
You can sell that shit here for good money.
Yeah, big dollars. Big dollars.
The porta potty company was telling me in Albuquerque that during the toilet paper deal and the hand sanitizing stuff that people were just going around robbing the shitters of all the supplies.
Another hand sanitizer. Shit.
So I put some sulfuric acid in my hand pump at the thing just in case somebody tried to steal it so that they would burn.
Oh, Jesus.
No, I didn't.
I flew to Denver last August, and we had a good layover. So there's a steakhouse in the airport, and we go to eat steak, and the lady's like, "What would you like to drink?" And I was like, "I don't know. What local beer do you suggest?" And she goes, "Coors." And I went, "Touche." Stupid me.
That's funny.
Yeah, that's like saying, like, do you want green chili on your pizza here? It's like you got to do it, right? So if you're in Denver, you got to have Coors. The banquet beer.
You got to drink Coors. The banquet. Coors banquet.
And I just laughed, and I was like, "That was a good one."
Yeah,
fell right into that.
So, Ricky, checking in with you. So you have been building a house. You're building a house up in the hills. How's all that stuff going? Because you had a situation where some fuckery happened with a contractor, and did you get that all worked out?
Yeah. He slowly. So I gave him some money, and I won't say which product because he's still paying me back, but he took about close to $40,000. Never ordered anything in December, and then I was like, "Yo, when's the product come in?" He said Monday, and then Monday came, and Tuesday came, and I realized he wasn't going to give me my product. So he started to make it right. So we're about halfway back on the 40, which keeps the project going. So we're close, man. I'm excited. They're building they're building some restaurants and stuff out here too that open up as soon as all this lifts. But man, just lost 10 pounds swinging hammers and keeping me in shape and like just constant movement. So there's never a good time for a pandemic, but man, it just I'm locked at home working on my house like everybody else. Like the landfill's full and the Home Depot and Lowe's. I go there and I'm like, wait a minute, how does this work? So they can operate at 20%, and on a Monday through Friday, 20% capacity is probably 200. There is only maybe like 20 people in the store on a normal time when everybody works. Now there's all 200 in the store Monday through Friday, and it's insane the logic behind everybody's home projects, landscaping. It's cool that it's getting done, but not a lot of staying at home. So I'm staying at home.
Yeah. weekend warriors all week long is what I would say.
Well,
doesn't stop.
My friend Brock is actually one of the assistant store managers up at Wantabo, at the Lowe's on Wantabo. And he said every day, they're doing Black Friday numbers.
Wow.
Yeah, they have to be.
Every day. Yeah. He said they're doing between $300,000 and $400,000 a day, every day at Lowe's on Wantabo. Like, it's that busy.
Wow. I don't throw your friend under the bus, but I love Lowe's because when you go to Home Depot, right, they have like the tent and then they have like the spacing thing, and then they look at the thing and it's like, all right, you gotta wait, man. And then I look at the exit, 2 guys walk out, they let 2 in, right?
Yeah.
You go to Lowe's and they're looking at like this screen that's not even look like it's on. And they're like, you're good, go ahead, you're fine. I'm like, these guys are counting shit.
They're just watching.
Like, yeah, bro. They're pretending. They're pretending to count that shit, man. I go to Home Depot. Nah, man. I'm sitting there waiting to get in. And then when you get in there, the lines, like, oh my gosh. And it seems like they need to open up more registers too, because it is like Black Friday every single day. Like, but maybe they're having a hard time finding people to work.
And then you always have the self checkout, and then someone's using it and they don't know how to use it. So then the person has to come over there and teach them how to use it, which makes it not a self checkout at that point.
Yeah.
That's the worst though, man. I still haven't mastered the self checkout. You go some places they want it's like Walmart. Their scales are so sensitive. Like you like have a cracked egg. It's like, oh, sorry, you mean to attend it, and then then your pen, like your pens aren't weighing the correct weight, and then it calls the attendant. Like Lowe's and Home Depot, not so bad with the weight issue, but man, I'm like that guy who literally like goes and scans it and it stops me every 2 minutes, and I'm just like, what the hell? But
like
Chris,
Lowe's, go for it.
Yeah, Chris, how you been getting along during all this stuff? So, I mean, you have your day job is I don't know what we can say about it, but you're kind of a computer guy. You're a computer genius.
I don't know about a genius, but I work for the federal government. I have a high clearance, and I can work from home. I mean, so it's not been terrible. It's just really weird, like watching the news and see what they tell you, and then open an email from work and see what they tell you, which are usually not the same thing. So that's kind of weird.
Wait, so the news is not telling us the truth?
I'm just saying, like, they talk about like everything the country's going to open back up this, at this point, and then I'll get an email and they'll tell me when we probably can go back to like the office, and it's way later than what they're telling you on TV. So
yeah, I actually met with a guy today. I'm kind of embarrassed to say this, but they say real estate people are essential workers. And I kind of put us like, you have nurses up here and you have realtors that are like down here.
Yeah.
What they call us essential. But I actually met with a guy today, him and his wife, and she works for TLC Plumbing, and she's still working. Yeah. And he works for Intel, not Intel, he works for HP. And they have told them right now at this point, they're not going to be coming back to work until probably end of September, early October.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
But when you get it, like when the federal government is like on TV, they're like, "Oh, here's when everything's going to be reopened," and then you get an email and they're like, "We actually have no idea." And when you're going to go back to work, it's like, "Huh, that's interesting." It's weird.
It's nerve-wracking watching these state press conferences with like the governor, and I just want to know what the meat and potatoes are of what we're doing. I don't need 2 hours of talking about, like I watched the first part of it and it was like, okay, so the metro area, we want to see it at 0.15 before we start reopening more things. Today we're at 0.16, and I'm like, fuck, we missed it by 0.01. Like, can we get? There's no over under on this shit. We're just fucking missed it by a 0.01.
Yeah.
And I turned it off. So then I get back on Facebook 2 hours later. It's still live, and I'm like, what could we possibly be talking about? Like for 2 hours of this, like we get it.
Well, and to me, it's weird because like you would see these like videos of like grocery stores completely cleaned out. And then here, the stores aren't completely cleaned out, but then like you'll go and you'll have like one item you want to get, and that's completely wiped out. Just that one thing. Yeah. And then everything else is full. And you're like, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Yeah. The paradigm has shifted now. And now it's not. I actually went to Costco this morning, and I was actually able to buy toilet paper. They actually had toilet paper.
Good shit.
Yeah, they did. No pun intended, but yeah, they had toilet paper. And but there was 0 ground beef, none. It's all gone.
Yeah,
all the ground beef is gone. There was chicken, but no ground beef. So now everybody's hoarding ground beef.
Yeah, they're gonna do that. I mean, I've been Brody, my mechanic. His mom owns a ranch out here, and I buy a quarter cow, and so she said she's just getting bombarded with requests for it, which I like grass-fed beef, and so I've gotten it from her. It lasts me almost a year when I buy. I mean, a lot of meat,
like a side of beef.
Yeah. I buy a half cow, and it's a lot. I mean, it's a lot of meat. So
you were in Amarillo.
No, Buck was. I was.
No, Buck was in Amarillo. He could have just. They have like 5 meat packing plants there.
Oh yeah. I should have done that.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, but you can get. She's like, you get first priority because you've been buying meat from me for years, and I'm like, I better because I've seen the store shelves, and I've heard of the Wendy's only allowing 1 patty, saying they're going to chicken in the next few weeks.
No,
I guess. Yeah, no. Wendy's is already going to go to full chicken, I think, next week, and they will only let you order a single. I think Carl's Jr. I had a buddy that went to Carl's Jr. said they'll only let you have a single patty. You can't get doubles.
Really?
So yeah, bro, it's happening. Yeah. So I guess I've thought about being vegan. So maybe it's time.
No, you can't do that, man. You're
right.
You'll just have to talk about it all the time. You're just gonna have to talk about how you're vegan all the time if you do that.
Right.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you got to do, right? When you convert. So
do you CrossFit as well? I mean,
I don't. My brother does, so I see enough weightlifting videos.
Okay.
There's apparently some new trend right now on TikTok, and I want to know if you guys have seen this. It's people are milking cucumbers.
No.
So.
Wow.
So I'm gonna read this, and I'll tell you. I'll read what it says. If you cut off the end of a cucumber.
Why are you rolling your lips over your teeth while you're telling the story, bro? Come on, just spit it out.
I can read this. So if you cut off the end of a cucumber and then start rubbing it in a circular motion against the area of the where you just cut, as you do it, apparently white stuff is supposed to start coming out of the edges of the cucumber, and then you brush all that stuff off, eat the cucumber, and they said it actually tastes better.
What?
Have you seen this or heard this?
I didn't know people are going around saying that cucumbers are disgusting. But
cucumber.
Here.
So the last time I was in Utah, my sister-in-law was kind of making this vegetable tray, and she was like, "Oh, I'm going to milk the cucumber," and I said, "Excuse me." Like, I'm from the South. I'm from New Orleans. I know most little tricks, and I've never heard of that. But she did it, and she learned from her husband, who's from Alabama, his grandfather. So you cut the edge off the cucumber like this.
There you go.
And then you start, like, rubbing it together in circular motions. You can already see that white stuff coming out.
What?
So I don't know if you've ever had a cucumber that's a little bit bitter, like it just doesn't taste fresh. That's because you have to milk your cucumbers. So your milker now. Look at all that bitterness coming out. So this cucumber is going to taste so fresh now.
I'm like what it tastes like before.
Are you guys getting excited?
It's like cheese.
Yeah, this chick definitely works for the Jack Shack.
Yeah, right. I learned it by watching you. What the hell?
She for sure is a massage therapist at a salon, up and up place.
Oh my gosh.
Got the technique down.
How do you even keep a straight face while you're doing that?
No kidding.
Man, I was reading the story and I was like, this shit can't be real. There's
Right.
gotta be something about this, but apparently that's the new thing that people are doing. They're milking cucumbers, and it's
Her dude's in the background all jealous and like that hasn't
Right.
happened in a while.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, really? You're gonna put your skills down on this thing?
Right. He's like, it's not Friday.
yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's something that people do because they're bored as shit. I've never heard of that in my entire life.
Well, my question is, how do you figure out like that you need to milk a cucumber? Like, how does that even happen? You know,
I always wonder how people figure out anything. Like somebody was like looking at a cow one day and they're like, I should drink that. You know?
I'm thinking that they were probably just someone was probably got the cucumber and they broke the head off, and all of a sudden they were rubbing the cucumber and they realized that it had fluid in the end, and maybe that's how they found it out.
Okay, so my question to you guys is, how soon is this going to be incorporated into somebody's fucking disgusting porn video where it's going to be like cucumber milking and
that's where they learned it? Are you shitting me?
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
and I know this from watching.
Pornhub, man.
I'm not a porn guy, but I know this from watching the new TV series Dave on FX with Lil Dicky. And apparently there's porn called milking porn. And it's almost kind of like glory hole stuff where they just like, you know, you have a hole and you get milked through the hole.
Huh.
Or maybe that's how this
you sure do know a lot about this from a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys watched Dave yet?
I've
watched a little bit, yeah. A little bit of it.
Chris, what did you think of it? I'm a huge Lil Dicky fan. Like, I've been a Lil Dicky fan for years. So
I need to give it another try. I only watched one episode. There's so much shit to watch that I need to give it another. I only watched a little bit of it and I was distracted because I have a phone and I need to learn not to do the phone and the TV at the same time.
Yeah.
Dude, that's the worst, bro. My wife and me, we like trade off on TV shows. And so if it's something she wants to watch, I go on my phone. I have no idea what's going on. And now I'm watching Bosch. And she was into season 1. We're on like season 2. Okay. Season 3, she got on her phone. Now she don't want to watch it no more.
Yeah.
It's like, this is a great show.
Yeah. I'm trying to not do that, but yeah. So I'll give it another try. I've heard good things about it.
Yeah. He's funny, man.
It's a must watch.
All right.
He's a super, super talented guy as far as just like his rapping ability. Like his flow is just ridiculous.
Started out on YouTube, right?
Yeah. Yeah, he did start out on YouTube.
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't know a lot about him. I thought it was just a TV show character, but yeah. Now that I looked him up, I'm like, oh, dude, this dude's for real. He's good.
Yeah, Mark Basler just asked if did you just say you're a fan of Little Dick? No, I'm a fan of Lil Dicky. Lil Dicky the rapper.
He said he doesn't watch pornography,
but he knows all about making cucumbers, though.
Yeah. I do now. I mean, we just saw a how-to video on how to milk a cucumber, so now I feel like, yeah, I don't know.
I do this thing now where I watch YouTube videos for like 7 hours, you know, and just
that's called a YouTube hole, bro. That's getting sucked into a YouTube hole.
Yeah. Well, that's
you on TikTok?
I'll do some TikTok. I'll go into a TikTok hole every once in a while. I just can't stand this shit on TikTok where they're like standing up in a tree and they're about to fall off, and you're like, wow, is that guy gonna shatter his pelvis? And then all of a sudden it's like, subscribe to see the second part, and then you're like, son of a bitch, you know.
There's one thing I wasn't going to do. I wasn't going to get on TikTok. I'm not going to do it. I refuse.
Okay, so let me ask you guys a question. Is there so I always bust Dex's chops about the way he speaks, because I'd say a lot of the time things that come out of his mouth sound like they should be coming out of like a 14-year-old girl's mouth.
Okay.
And I'm wondering, is it age appropriate for people like us to be on TikTok? Like what's the age cutoff for TikTok? Because it really seems like it's you've got to be like 25 or under to really participate in TikTok.
Under 30,
yeah. Because I see a lot of the TikTok stuff is like kids saying fucked up shit to like older to their parents and stuff. To see what their parents will say. So I feel like that's under 30. I just get people will send me shit, and then all of a sudden I like swipe down, and then I keep watching it. It's like fuck, you know.
Yeah, I can't do it, man. I can't even, like, I'll watch them when they just show up on like an Instagram timeline, but I don't go just do TikTok videos. My wife is doing it now, and some of her friends are hooked on it, man. I'm just like, no, I'm a grown man. I can't do that.
Well, there's a lot of celebrities like that do it. I saw J-Lo and what's his name, A-Rod, do a lot of TikTok stuff, and I was just like, that's weird, you know?
Yeah, I watched Chris. What's his name? Not Chris Rock. What the freak? Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart.
Yeah, he does a lot.
They're horrible. It's just like, I'm about to do TikTok. You're like, waiting for it. That's the deal. I'm about to TikTok. Waiting.
What blows my mind is a lot of these celebrities now have YouTube channels, and like Kevin Hart has a YouTube channel, a fitness one, and
really,
yeah,
huh?
And he has other celebrities on it, and they do these fitness challenges together. There's tons of like it's so odd like that. You have TV as a media, you have podcast as a media, then you have YouTube as a media, and YouTube, like these people are making millions of dollars, and you're just like, really? Like, holy crap. Some kid, he made like $18 million in a year unboxing toys.
Oh, Ryan's Toy Review. Yeah, my kids.
You know his name. I mean, I don't even know his name. I'm just like.
So my two daughters, they play, they're 6 and 7, and they play a game play a game called Roblox, ROBLOX.
Yeah.
And it kind of seems almost like Minecrafty a little bit because it kind of has like that pixelated thing. Like it's not like really sharp characters. They look like Lego people. And they're always watching videos of this girl. And I think she's like 13, 14 years old. And her screen name is Karina OMG. And apparently there's a website that you can go to. I had a friend over here the other day, and we were talking about this. And he was telling me about this website where you can actually go and see how much money these people are making off of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, all that stuff. This little 13, 14-year-old girl, she's making between $600,000 and $700,000 a month.
Jesus.
Playing this stupid game. I mean, seriously, just playing this game, she's making $600,000 to $700,000 a month.
Wow. I'm doing it wrong.
We're grinding it out on the podcast, and these kids are playing in Roblox, and they're making almost $1 million a month doing this shit.
And then they get free shit constantly from like all the sponsors and whatnot, and you're just like, wow.
Yeah. Well, it's funny is like this whole Ryan's Toy Review thing. Like, I've been watching this kid because my kids have been watching his videos for a long time. You can see the progression of him as his family starts making money. Because when you watch the first videos, they're in this shitty little house in like California, and it's like a 2-bedroom fucking, 1,000 square foot little dump, and they're out in the yard doing these videos. And now, you look at his videos now, and they're in like a 8,000 square foot house, and it's fucking white marble everywhere.
Got an Armani suit on.
Yeah. The kid's wearing like, he's got his little Dolce & Gabbana glasses on and shit. It's like, oh, you're getting there, buddy. You're getting there. Good for you. Good for you.
And you know that they like walk on eggshells around the kid.
Yeah.
Like they don't want him to get pissed.
Don't get Ryan off. Oh, don't piss off the meal ticket.
Meal ticket, yeah. They call him meal ticket, but not in front of him.
Yeah,
that's gotta be. As a parent, it's like for us, it was like Macaulay Culkin and and all those kids in the back in the day. The parents were just spending the money. Now it's like this kid unboxing toys. His parents were like, "You let him make those videos." Now they're like, "You better make some more videos, Junior."
Yeah. Yeah. Feel bad for that. There's going to be a whole generation of fucked up YouTube kids. They're going to be like the next. You look at these tragic stories of these child actors. Like the Drew Barrymore and those types. The Lindsay Lohans, and you see how fucked up their lives got. And there's going to be this whole next generation of. It's not going to be child actors, but it's going to be these YouTube stars, these kid YouTube stars that have made millions of dollars and just fucking lost their minds. It's going to happen.
Did you follow the whole Corey Feldman pay-per-view movie thing?
No. What? Tell me about.
Oh, you didn't see any of that? Where he was like, "We're finally gonna show the documentary that we made that's going to expose high-level people in Hollywood to pedophilia." Yeah. And then they did like a $20 pay-per-view, and then the whole thing was like it was Charlie Sheen, supposedly. Charlie Sheen like raped Corey Haim on the film set of Lucas, allegedly. So I was just kind of like, "What's that?"
That's one of those things where you're like, I could see that happening.
Yeah. You're like if they would like, you're like, who is this? Sounds like a lie, and then they go Charlie Sheen, and you go, oh,
that makes sense.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
What is he doing now? I haven't heard his name in forever.
I don't know. Last I heard, he had HIV, not full blown AIDS, but HIV now, I think. And then then strippers and porn. I don't know. Tiger's blood.
Yeah, Tiger's blood. I just typed in what's Charlie Sheen doing now, and Charlie Sheen opens up about his addiction battles.
Shocker.
Sheen's unbelievable transformation. Oh, that was an 18.
I know he refuted the accusations, but it was like right before all this happened that was for a weekend. That was the big story. Was Corey Feldman? They were going to do this pay-per-view, and just the fact that they were doing it all as a pay-per-view, to me was just like, oh, okay. And then supposedly people paid, and then it didn't start on time, and they said that they were hacked and that people were taking it down, trying to cover it up, and then finally they showed it.
Yeah. Did you buy it?
No. No, I torrented it.
I my current at work.
I used my Fire Stick on it. Yeah.
I'm not giving Corey Feldman my money.
Fuck that guy.
I did see that his band did one of the songs for it, and then that charted. So he actually was on the charts for a little while.
Huh.
And I was like, okay.
Good for him.
America, I guess.
Yeah. So today was the day that the state has decided to partially start to open back up. Ricky's actually on one of the boards, aren't you? Aren't you on the board for gyms and whatnot?
Yeah, reopen gyms across the state. So we met probably, 3-4 times, put in a couple hours each day. Gave our recommendations for the first wave of opening, some, just to try and give our advice on what it's going to take to open up a gym. And so I was talking to a lot of my gym buddies and, yoga business, jiu-jitsu business, mixed martial arts business. And I thought that they were going to include that first wave of opening up today.
Yeah.
So when she didn't come out with that, we missed it by 0.01, or we would have been open. I was kind of getting a lot of phone calls. I'm like, look, we give advice to to her, but she ultimately makes the decision. And what can you do? I mean, a gym is a tough one, right? Because this is a vapor-borne illness. So breathing hard is a way to transmit it. So how do you go to the gym and not transmit it, right? I mean,
well, yeah, and running in a mask or running, or lifting in a mask would be tough.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that they want is people to wear masks. And so I guess, what I tell these guys during the first wave, if you have to wear a mask to be open, it's better than, they're not saying it has to be a certain grade of mask, but a face covering. So put your Crips and your Bloods on and let's, go to the gym, but everybody's going to have the same rule. But it is nice to see a lot of people getting outdoors to actually get exercise as opposed to jamming into health clubs and just ripping it. It's weird how we're reverting back to the way we should be, with communication and with each other and talking and cooking food at home and eating together with our families and taking walks. And it's weird, man. It's weird to see people just going back to the way it was when I was a kid, where we go till the street lights went off playing football or baseball or basketball, whatever the sport was in the street.
Riding your bike. Yeah.
Yeah. There was, now I'm afraid for my kids to ride their bikes, not anymore. My kids are older, but there was some time there where times have changed, where it's like your kids, you didn't want them at the park. You just didn't do things. And now we're reverting back to those things that we did when we were younger to keep busy.
I was talking to a friend of mine earlier. He's a nurse, and he actually did an interview with KUNM. And he was telling me that, they have to wear at work, they have to wear those big respirator masks, and they had them they're busy. So he was he was running around, and they were running him around. And then finally he had to tell him, he's like, I got to sit down because you can't breathe very well through them. So it just gasped. I was like, oh man, I didn't think of that, but yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. There was a story of a gal that had passed out because she wore a mask so long. She was driving with it like an idiot, and it was like she passed out because she had too much carbon dioxide. she wrecked. It's like, okay, here we go. The masks are necessary in the essential field, right? But driving your car by yourself, I mean, you're just recycling your own dirty ass breath,
That's just the thin of the herd, bro. That's all that is.
Yeah, but if your kid's out riding the bike, you know what I mean? Yeah. He decides to go drive the car.
Right.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah. So we were actually able to, you guys all know we have some businesses downtown, and the liquor store was actually able to open back up today. Finally,
I saw people over there.
Yeah. I actually just looked at the report, and people are
Black
going
Friday
in.
Numbers?
Huh?
Black Friday numbers?
No, not Black Friday numbers. But I mean, all we did was we posted after the press conference that we were going to be opening on Saturday, and we went down there, and I went down today and checked it out. But we opened and got all that stuff going. I don't think that we're going to be able to have a concert at the El Rey. My guess is probably until sometime next year.
How can that work for you, though? Don't you have like a mortgage or rent or something like that?
We do. Fortunately, our landlord's been pretty cool about everything, and she's being a realist about it, Yeah. And, I mean, we're barely able to use 10% of the building. That we have such a large space that we can only use a small portion of it. So she's been super cool and super helpful about it. So,
well, I have a fight scheduled July 18th up at in Santa Fe at Buffalo on the Indian reservation.
Oh wow!
So I don't know, man. I mean, I'm waiting to see if the natives run concerts, which they're scheduled to in June.
Like you're going to fight, or you have a fighter fighting?
No, an actual fight with crowd.
Actually, he has a fight promotion that he does.
Promotion.
Oh, I thought maybe you were going to get in the octagon and fight.
No, that's just me and my wife during COVID. So that's separate. Just kidding. So we have a promotion scheduled. If you go to any Circle K in the state right now, they're already advertising for May and June. And we did it with Peanut Butter Whiskey Company that we did the promo with. But I mean, we moved our April 4th fight and then we already were scheduled for July 18th. And so the tribes are going to open back up sooner than anything else. They can do whatever they want. So I think at some point we'll see how this could get interesting. I mean, I obviously don't want to run the first mega event in the state with the crowd. So I do want to see what it's like for the little concerts or, at some of the venues. So we'll see. I'm hoping someone tests the water first. I don't want the media attention for it, but if they want to run it, I don't know, man. I mean, if they want to run a show and other people are doing it, I'll probably wind up doing it. Yeah, David, that's called being ripped, asshole.
So have you guys, on social media, there's a guy from Rio Rancho and he has a big flatbed truck and he's putting a screen on it and he's going to do like a drive-in theater somewhere around town. Have you seen any of that?
I haven't seen it, but I've actually seen around the country that people are doing that. Like the whole drive-in movie theater thing has kind of come back.
Yeah.
And, people are throwing up screens and they're doing that. That's a new thing that people are doing.
I just always wonder how they go to the bathroom. It's like, what do you do there?
Gatorade bottle, bro.
Gatorade bottle. That's what I was thinking. The old school.
I thought it was a yellow one.
Yeah. Whoops.
That's
funny. But, I think they're going to try to do it every weekend, and they found a place. I guess they couldn't stop them from doing it.
Oh, good.
Food trucks and whatnot.
Yeah.
So look for that somewhere on Facebook. I don't know who the guy is. I just saw that was happening. I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then someone's like, well, what movie are they showing? I'm like, it's called Outside, Not in Your House.
Who cares? Who cares? They're showing something to get you out of your house and take your mind off of this shit. So
what are you guys doing to keep yourself busy if you leave the house? What's your thing to do?
I ride my bike. I go get coffee, ride my longboard around, stuff like that. And
well, he's downtown though. I mean, you're literally like right downtown. So you have all of that stuff around that you can go and do.
Try to figure out where the gunshots are coming from.
It'll always be around knockouts if it's out.
It's called a desk pop. All right, it happens.
Desk pop.
Have you guys ever heard of the Bro Bible?
No,
I've heard of it.
So there's a website called Bro Bible, and they always put up interesting information. And yesterday, Bro Bible put out a map with all of the favorite drinks for every single state, the most ordered cocktail in every single state. And if you just took a stab, what do you think the number one drink in New Mexico would be?
Four Loko.
No, it's a mixed drink.
Mixed drink? Margarita.
That would probably be the most popular.
I'm going to say Moscow Mule.
It's not a Moscow Mule. I don't think anybody has a. Let me see if anybody's got a Moscow Mule.
Really?
I don't think any Moscow Mule
I must be thinking 7 years ago when it was all over the fucking place.
Yeah.
Mojito?
No. Actually, believe it or not, in New Mexico, they say the number one cocktail in New Mexico is an old fashioned.
Oh, that's good. That's a good one.
And we're actually bookend by Arizona and Texas, with both of those being the Paloma.
I don't know what the hell that is.
Dude, when we get to, if we ever open Founders again, you have to have Josh make you a Paloma. It's either a mezcal or tequila drink. You can make it two different ways, I believe, and it's amazing. Absolutely stunning.
That's why I don't know what it is. Tequila's that booze that I can't have.
Oh, you don't get to do that. You don't play nice with tequila.
No.
We're actually doing margaritas tonight. I'm pumped up.
Dang.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm taking a day off tomorrow, man. We're like 30 days straight. So I'm taking a day off tomorrow.
Yeah, aren't you paying people to build your house? Why are you out there swinging sledgehammers?
I'm gonna make sure it gets done right, bro. There's certain things that I'm doing. I'm doing all the insulation. I'm doing all the. Did you just crack a joke?
I did crack a joke. Yes.
So no, I'm doing it right. I'm doing a lot of the stuff myself. So want to make sure that it comes out the way I want it. Since I used to be a plumber, so.
Oh, nice.
With the guy who was talking shit to me, David, we used to work together, and I used to show him how to be a plumber, right? So now he's a good plumber. So,
oh wow.
Yeah, I'll tell you a good story about David since he's talking shit about me on here. So David, when he first got married, his mother-in-law had he's probably gonna piss at me for telling the story. His mother-in-law had opened up a business, and so he went over there to help her out and put a new water heater in. The next day, his mother-in-law came to the shop, and it had burned to the ground. Okay. And he accidentally lit the closet on fire, went home, and it was smoldering, and the shit burned down all the way to the ground.
Oh, damn.
So, when I made a lot of mistakes in business, and that's what made me good at what I do. That's why David is such a good plumber now, man. How many plumbers you say you can burn a fucking house down before you learned how to do it right?
Hey, you didn't tell me that before you had him come install my water heater.
Oh, it's called a hit, motherfucker.
Don't burn his house down.
In David's defense, he did an amazing job installing my water heater. I've seen a lot of water heaters get installed, and they're not always right. He did a good job. So
no, he's a great plumber, man. He always was when we worked together, but he fired the first shot, so I had to put the finishing shot in.
Man, he burned his mom's house down.
Oh wait, his own mom. I'm sorry.
So the thing is that he can never live that shit down. He'll be like, well, I did that right, and she's like, you mean like when you put in my water heater?
Yeah.
when you burn?
I swear, it wasn't leaking. It wasn't leaking when I left, but it was on fire.
Was on fire. Yeah. You would never live that shit down.
Yeah. The thing about Ricky, Chris, that you have to understand is like, you don't ever want to get into a pissing contest with Ricky. Like, you don't ever want to try to prank Ricky or one up him, because he's that guy that always goes so much fucking farther. Like
immediately, like,
yeah. Like if he comes into a room and you think you're funny and you put a tack on his seat and he sits down on the tack and he's like, oh fuck, I sat on the tack. The next thing you know, all 4 of your tires are going to be gone off of your car, and it's going to be up on like blocks, be like,
no, like
there's going to be a map for your tires or something.
On fire.
Yeah. Let's tell the actual story to what happened when
here we go.
You were actually in on this. I think I think you were actually in on this, but so I played a joke in the studio with Shannon, and I put her in some kind of chokehold. And so you guys thought it would be funny to like superimpose bruising marks on her.
Oh, no, hey, hold on, stop. I was gone when that happened. That was all you guys. I actually wasn't there. Dex is the one who did this, but continue.
So anyway, so Dex, like, they superimposed this like bruising, and her husband is like furious, and they're talking about calling the cops. So they like start recording me. So when you talk about getting me this one time, they got me good. So they record me, like, I'm like, dude, I didn't even like mean to do that, and I didn't even choke her. Like, what the hell is going on, right? So they're all playing a joke on me, and I'm like freaked out. Like, I'm like, God, I hope they don't call the cops, you know? So I'm just like it was a great prank. That was the best anybody's probably ever gotten me. So the next day, I decided when I came in studio, I was methodically going to torture Dex, and so I took out all 4 tire stems in his tire in his Range Rover at the time, and then I put them in an envelope with the wrench so he could reinstall them back in there. And I even left him a little 12-volt pump, but I made sure that it was like the lowest pressure pump, so he would still try and pump it up. And the motherfucker was out there for like 4 hours just to get because I knew if I didn't leave him the tools that he would just have somebody come pump it up and he'd be on his way. So I wanted him to have the pump to like hang himself.
That's pretty rough.
Give him the rope, and then he tried to pump him up, and it took him almost an hour a tire before he could leave the studio. But he did get me good before that.
Yeah, he did. He sure did.
That's pretty awesome.
Oh man, that's funny. That is funny. All right. Well, I guess that's probably it for today. You guys have anything you want to talk about? Anything else?
Not really. I mean, people can check out my show. It's on Sundays from 6 to 8 p.m. Facebook.com/10drink. It's a lot like this. You know, we tell stories or we have guests. But yeah, check us out.
Yeah, I don't know when Dex is going to be available to come back, but we'll be a little more consistent with the shows now. And I was actually telling Ricky, you didn't hear this, but I was telling Chris this off the air. There's a band that I've been following since about 2015 that I'm a huge fan of. They're called The Wind and the Wave, and I just kind of reached out to them randomly. I think they're on I can't remember what label they're on. They're on some label, but I just reached out to them randomly, you know, and I've been kind of randomly reaching out to people like, hey, it's kind of slow right now. Do you want to hop on our podcast with us? But these guys actually wrote me back and said that they would come on. So I'm going to try to set them up for next week. So if Dex isn't out, maybe one of you two guys can hop on and do the show with me, and we can interview those guys and kind of chop it up with them a little bit and you know, just hang out.
Yeah, cool.
Sounds good.
All right. Well, guys, thanks so much. Chris, thank you so much thanks for everything, for helping us get
no problem, man.
You've been super helpful, and I just so appreciate it. And Ricky, thank you as always for stepping in for Dex, because, you know, he's a fucking slacker, and you know,
fucking Rex.
Nice meeting you, Ricky. I'm not gonna fuck with you. Nice
to meet you too, man. Good hanging out.
I'm telling you, he's not the guy to do that with. So
I'll believe you.
All right, well, guys, thanks so much for being on. We'll talk to you later, and we will see you guys all soon. Take care. Bye.
Peace.